Even though it's after Christmas, the Star Wars shelves are all full. Now, the Marvel shelves are pretty empty. You can see there's been a pretty decent hit to the video game consoles. But Star Wars is exactly the way it was 6 months ago. And in many ways, it's the same exact way that it was 2 years ago. I went to my local Toys R Us to see the state of some Star Wars toys just for the hell of it. And I'm here to show you some of that. So up first is the AT-ACT. And it's still here. Save over $150. Only $149.98. And if you look closely at this one, it's the exact one that was in the previous video. It's missing the insert. Somebody stole the figures out and brought back the ship. So there you go with the AT-ACT. Now let's take a look here. The Millennium Falcon. Ooh, this one's got some damage on the box. Probably been there for 2 years. More Millennium Falcons. You know, for $150, that is not an easy sell. Again, that box looks damaged because it's been there for 2 whole years. And here we go, some of the exclusives. Admiral Akbar and some dude from the, not Empire. And there's plenty of them, so for all those old guys that rushed out to get them on day one, you kind of wasted your time. Speaking of a waste of time, here's Constable Zuvio. Still! That is a figure from Wave 1 2 years ago. Speaking of 2 years ago, we have more of the interactive action figures for $99.99, and nobody wanted them. Luke is this land speeder, that's pretty cool. I kind of want that, but $60 isn't worth it. The anniversary stuff is pretty cool. Actually, no, this is the shitty anniversary stuff. I don't want metallic figurines. I want stuff like this right here. The 40th anniversary Darth Vader, which I didn't buy because $40 for a figure and a little plastic stand is kind of dumb. See, I wasn't alive for the original run of Star Wars, so this box doesn't evoke any nostalgia for me. I waited and got the second release of Darth Vader because it's a great figure. These are not great figures. These are pieces of shit that have been here for well over a calendar year. The Rogue One giant-sized Stormtrooper figures. Those are in such high demand. Thank you, Jack Pacific. Hey, another Millennium Falcon. Full price, too. Oh, wow, look at this. The Rey Action Accessories Kit. And we're gone. Now here's the biggest toy of the holiday season, the thing that is so incredibly hard to keep on the shelves because 1, it's giant, 2, it's in such high demand, this 2-scale land speeder. For your kids, of course, because they wouldn't make one for adults. And you know, these tickets denote how many they have in stock. I bet they only have 1 or 2. This looks like there's probably about 20 of them in here. So, okay, we have that. Oh, there's more. And let's see, looks like another solid stack. So, if these each equal 1 of them in stock, there's a fuckload of these things sitting somewhere on a back dock, which nobody wants. Speaking of what nobody wants, these giant K2SO and TIE Fighter pilot action figures. There's Jyn Erso, you'll see her a lot today. K2SO, great character, dumb toy. More of the $99 figurines. Now, I can't lie, these have sold. The 3 3/4 inch action figures have sold at this local Toys R Us. But everyone's favorite character is easily available. We should keep a Rose count. She's the new Constable Zuvio. And we have the vehicles, which have not sold. Those crappy shampoo bottles that have not sold. Cassian Andor. Is he the biggest peg warmer in the history of Star Wars? Only time will tell. When I can get a figure for a penny, it's official. He's a shit character. There's Donnie Yen back there. More Rey. Darth Vader. Now, this is a pretty neat looking figure, but I don't collect that size of action figure anymore because they're shit. Speaking of shit, look at this. A full-scale RC BB-8. Save $80. Originally $229. Just what every parent's going to buy their kids. An expensive smartphone and BB-8 to go with it. I guess they didn't buy it because check out the stock. They got quite a few BB-8s. It's not even like 1 or 2 left. It's quite a few. The Rey dress-up kit. Not for boys, but it's in the boys section. There's the Jyn Erso one too. It's going to be safe to assume we won't see that again. I don't think we even saw it for episode 8. The Force for Diversity stuff. Look at how cute this is. You know, you want to make Star Wars girl-friendly, so you give all these stereotypically girl things. And that was that for that aisle. So over here there are more Force for Diversity dolls, which are always available in stock. Princess Leia, another Leia, 2 Reys, some chick, and there we go. There's the face of a dying franchise. Over at Walmart, you can see there's an ample supply of everything. Christmas didn't really affect this Star Wars section. 2-packs, action figures, all kinds of stuff. And hey, look, a flying Princess Leia, just like the movie. Except she doesn't fly. So Walmart was full. Over at Kroger, you can see they're out of Darth Vader's shit, literally Darth Vader's stool. And we have clearance. Star Wars clearance. I don't remember this happening when I was a kid. I wish it did. Oh, look, we got more Rose and Paige figures. Quite a few. I'd be lying if I didn't say they were nicely detailed, but for $3 they're a steal. Now normally they're $10. $10 for a little piece of shit. $3, I guess, is the right price. And now these 2-packs are normally $14.99 on clearance for $5. So if you haven't had your fill of Rey or the Praetorian Guards, there you go. Over here, we have the Black Series figures. Now, these Black Series figures, hey Finn, are on clearance for $7.50. Ignore the price tag because I checked the prices of these and they come up as $7.50. So if you didn't get a chance to pick up a Director Krennic or a Finn or a Cassian Andor, $7.50 is your new price. And that seems right for figures of this scale, because if you look at them, they're kind of boring toys. Like, that's one of the hard sells with Star Wars now. They're all, fuck you, Rose, they're all boring little figures. They don't really add much. The excitement of Star Wars doesn't translate from the screen to the action figure anymore. It's not even on the screen. So that was really about it for what I found out in the field. I thought it would be nice to do a follow-up video because that's the most successful video on this channel, but the thing about it is it's a representation of a specific day and time, and to further prove my point, I had to go back at a later date, and I did, and as you can see, a lot of the same exact stuff. There are actually indicators, markers on the boxes to show you that it's the exact same piece of merchandise, and I just want to break it down in a very nice way. These action figures come out in waves, so when Darth Vader's gone, a new box of Darth Vader just doesn't show up. They just have a glut of other stuff. So when Constable Zuvio's sitting there for 2 years, it's not that they ordered more just to fill in shelf space. He's just a shitty peg-warming action figure, and people don't want a lot of these figures. I thought Rogue One was a fine movie. I like it less the more I watch it and as time goes by, but my point is, I thought Rogue One was a fine movie, but the merchandise did not hit anywhere. There's only one Rogue One action figure that I've seen once and never again, and that was the Stormtrooper. Because, 1, it was a good figure, and 2, Stormtroopers, no matter what scale or what era, always sell. Stormtroopers are probably the highest selling action figure, because you can't just have one. When I collected stuff, I had 12 of the same Stormtrooper figure. You lined them up. In the movie, you never just see the rebels fight one Stormtrooper, it's always a small squadron of them. So, with the exception of a highly in-demand figure that has time on its side as being a time-tested collectible, these things aren't moving. Luke Skywalker is the rare exception, but if you name a character from the new film that actually has a figure, like Holdo doesn't have a toy, so don't go, where's Admiral Holdo? Her figure's sold out. Look it, they put out waves of figures, and not every figure comes out in the first wave. The first 4 Star Wars figures that came out in the early bird kit, it wasn't Darth Vader or Han Solo. It was Luke, Leia, Chewbacca, and R2-D2. So they just roll these things out periodically. And with these new characters, you won't see half of them on action figures. They weren't popular. They're not sought after. These movies make a bunch of money in the beginning because of the brand. But the true test of a brand's success is when people buy up the merchandise, the physical things that represent the brand. And it's just not happening as much anymore. Is it sad? Not really. The amount of quality that comes with these toys is, well, there's a lack of quality. They're small. The faces look fine, but for the price compared to what you can get out there, it sucks. You know, as a kid, if I was going to the store and I liked multiple different things, or I just wanted a toy based on the coolness, I wouldn't pick a Star Wars figure. Star Wars figures are old guys in robes, black dudes in black uniforms that aren't colorful, don't come with any cool accessories. a bunch of girls, and I don't care how you want to spin it, if it's sexism or whatever stupid shit you want to throw at me, little boys aren't always wanting to play with girl action figures. A friend of mine, his sister has a son, and I made a comment about Wonder Woman. He goes, "Ooh, yuck, she's a girl. I want to play with Batman, blah, blah, blah." So this forced diversity in Star Wars action figures, representation, if you will, because that's what we're supposed to do, doesn't work. Collectors will buy some figures, depending on their finances, and little kids will want what they want. But if they don't want these girl characters, they're not sexist. It's just what they're into. And it's stupid from a business standpoint to keep forcing shit people don't want down their throats. I'm a grown man and a collector, and they've lost me due to the lack of quality. They keep the prices the same, but the quality of the toys gone down. So there are numerous reasons why Star Wars toys aren't selling. I think it's mostly because Star Wars isn't what it once was. It's not the brand juggernaut everybody wants to say. 2 years ago, going on 3, when they started doing the Episode 7 action figures at the end of September, everyone was hyped because it was the first Star Wars release since 2005, so 10 years. Plus, it was the first time there was a new trilogy since 1999, and people didn't like the prequel, so they were trying to use the fact that it was going to be just like the original film, which it ended up being, to just, sell and move as much product as they could. And here's the thing. Disney sold and made all their money when they were paid a licensing fee by Hasbro. Then Hasbro makes their money when the stores buy it. And then when the people don't buy it from the stores get hosed. And that's why this shit sits on the shelves. And you only really hurt Toys R Us, Walmart, Kroger, any of these places. And if you look at Kroger just doesn't want this shit. They get it in. Holidays are over. They want it out of their stores as quickly as possible. They're not a toy store. They just have a toy section. And they're not really concerned about trying to make all their profit back. They're a grocery store. And, they make their money from food. And I'm sure food has a giant markup when compared to action figures. Toys R Us, though, I feel bad. They filed for bankruptcy. They may be going out of business. I'm not saying Star Wars is responsible at all. All I'm saying, though, is Star Wars isn't helping. It's kind of an anchor, if you will. It's just weighing them down and it's stopping them. And the Star Wars section is so huge in these stores. You gotta wonder what kind of Hasbro mandates there are, because we know that Disney threw out all these mandates at theater chains. They want 65% take at the box office, 4 weeks guaranteed in their largest auditoriums and all that kind of stuff. So when you go to Toys R Us and they have the biggest section of the store dedicated to Star Wars and it's always full, and it's not because of the due diligence of the employees, it's because the shit sits there. I've talked to employees. Star Wars moves maybe when the movie comes out, and the rest of the year it just sits there, and nothing new comes out. You can even see that there's less product being produced. All the good stuff comes from Japan. All the high-end stuff never reaches toy stores in the US. So that's pretty much it. I have the same stance as I did 6 months ago. Star Wars is a dead brand. Its merchandise rots in stores. Dollar store chains have it. You can go to your bargain outlets like Ollie's and Tuesday Morning, and you're going to find Star Wars merchandise there. You don't really see a lot of other brands at these stores. Rarely you'll see some 5-year-old Guardians of the Galaxy action figure, well, 4, but you'll see some old Guardians of the Galaxy figures, that didn't sell 4 years ago. But with Star Wars, you're seeing the stuff that's currently out at the main retailer, and it's always cheaper too. So, as a message to those who watch this video, if you really have the urge to buy this Star Wars crap, be smart and don't buy it right away, because the way it goes now, everything is available on sale. And I'm talking to the old guys that sit on these Facebook groups and, I gotta trade for this, and I gotta get a Captain Rex and all this right away. Dude, every high-in-demand figure I've ever heard of people talking about on the internet, I've seen at the store. Don't pay double. Don't be stroked. The only reason a lot of these older dudes are jumping on this toy line, the 6-inch figures, is because when they came out, they all balked at it. They didn't want it, so they didn't buy the toys. I picked up some of this stuff for pennies on the dollar. Now that they want it, the old stuff is super expensive, so they buy everything now in case they happen to want it down the road. So, look, Star Wars and toy collecting in general is a weird beast. There's no rationale. It's just pure emotion. And it's good for business. It's bad for people because it just brings out the worst in them. So, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it all over the internet. And if you're a fan of this channel, check out our Patreon page. 17 cents a day or $5 a month gets you access to all kinds of cool content, stuff that doesn't hit on YouTube. And if you check out your perks in the higher level tiers, you can be on the show and we'll talk about anything you want. Over on the channel, we have our amazing Spider-Man hangout, which was a lot of fun. Good friend of the show showed up, and we had about a 6-hour discussion. So if that's something that interests you, Patreon, World Class Bullshitters, we can make it happen. I'll be back later in the week with more content. Thank you for watching.